Welcome everyone to the world of Pokemon. This is the Ninja Nick 333 back with another round of the Champions League. It is E-Block standard format. All of the cards in D-Block have now rotated. We have Scarlet and Violet base set legal. We also have a block Snorlax on the right side, the one from Pokemon Go. I believe it makes it so your opponent's Pokemon cannot retreat. We are seeing this is a Lost Box deck here on the left, the one that it is currently zoomed in on. We are going to see the Radiant Greninja get benched here. We have used one Flower Selecting. Flower Selecting allows you to look at the top two cards of your deck, put one into the Lost Zone and one into your hand. Looks like we do not have any basic energy to utilize Radiant Greninja's concealed cards ability to discard a basic energy and draw two cards. We also see the Arven here. I do have to reread that. Arven Pokemon DCG. Can we see an image in English, maybe? Can't read it. I do know, I think it can search you Pokemon. Oh, his name is Pepper in Japanese. That's actually better. Search your deck for an item card and a Pokemon tool card. Reveal them and put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. That's actually a pretty solid card. I do know that a lot of Lugia decks are playing this as a one-of. We do see that we are grabbing the Nest Ball here. And then, of course, we grab a tool card. So we are getting the Leafy Camo Poncho. I believe Leafy Camo Poncho makes it so the Pokemon on the bench that it's attached to can't be bossed as long as it is a V-Star or V-Max. So not one that had seen a ton of play before this format, but is one that will likely be a lot better. We do see a second one of these Snorlax comes down. Looks like maybe this is some sort of control deck because you are forcing your opponent to not be able to retreat, which will be a little bit devastating to these Lost Box decks since it does rely a little bit more on this Beach Court Stadium card that has been printed now. It allows your basic Pokemon in play to have one colorless less for a retreat cost. So we will not be seeing any free retreats in this matchup, potentially just switch carts, escape ropes, switches, and the like. We are going to use the Hisuian Heavy Ball to search our deck, or search our prize cards for a basic Pokemon. I'm not sure what he grabbed off of that, but I do believe he got something. Oh yes, it was the Cramorant, that's right. It looks like this is also some sort of Rotom deck as well. So because we are playing the Arven that can search us out tool cards, I saw a Rotom V in the prize cards. Maybe the Snorlax is just here to stall your opponent until you get these one-shots built up with the Rotom. You can always use Rotom V's ability to draw 3 cards and end your turn, which is pretty solid. Not quite as good as Zacian V back in the day, but it is still pretty solid nonetheless. We are using our second Flower Selecting of the turn after we have used the Switch card to go into the second one. We are choosing which one we're going to put in the Lost Zone. Looks like we want to keep both, but you have to choose one to go in the Lost Zone. So it will be that Clara to keep the Sky Seal Stone. So this will be one of these decks that uses something along the lines of Raikou V in it as an attacker along with Mirage Gate. You do not know exactly what you are playing against yet, so keeping that Sky Seal Stone could be very valuable to get an additional prize card. So if your basic Pokemon V attacks, you can use the V-Star power to take an additional prize card on one of your opponent's Pokemon V. Very good against things like Lugia, where your Raikou can take 3 prize cards instead of just 2. We are going to use that Pokegear to grab the Roxanne off the top 7. Not really useful right now, but you thin it out of your deck so you maybe have a little bit greater of an odds of drawing into a better card on the next turn. And it looks like that will just be a pass. We do see the Misfortune Sisters. You look at the top 5 cards of your opponent's deck and discard any tool, as many tool cards as you want from there, or no, it's 2 item cards. And you can put the rest back in any order. Or maybe as many. Okay, so just ignore me because that was wrong. So you so you can mill as many item cards, I believe, as you want out of those 5, and then you shuffle the rest back into the deck. So this is some sort of stall deck, it seems like. Maybe it's just using the Rotom V as a draw engine, since you are not able to use Gormandize Snorlax, since you're choosing to use this blocking Snorlax instead. I do kind of like that. That's not a bad decision. You always get to draw 3. You can build up a very large hand as opposed to having to thin your hand all the time in order to use Gormandize. So very interesting, especially to see this at 9-2. This is round 3 of day 2 here. We are going to see the escape rope. We are going to be able to use yet another flower selecting, or we could just switch into this Cramorant. We do have 4 in the loss zone here right now, so we will be able to attack with Cramorant should we desire. I don't believe that that will be knocking out a Snorlax. Most Snorlax cards have somewhere around 150 HP, I believe. So we're just going to whap this for a good 110 and pass our turn off to this mill stall something or other deck. I do like Misfortune Sisters as a card. When that was revealed, I did immediately know that it was a good card. There's been other cards like Team Rocket's Handiwork in the past, where you flip 2 coins for each heads, you mill 2 cards from the top of your opponent's deck. This Misfortune Sisters is a card that I immediately equated to that, thinking that it's actually quite a bit better, because every deck plays a lot of item cards, so now you don't have to flip coins, and it's a lot like playing Team Rocket's Handiwork. So if you can average 2 or 3 cards being milled a turn with Misfortune Sisters, that's pretty decent. We also see we're going to use Arven yet again. We're going to get an item and a tool card, so we are getting Pokemon Catcher and Pot Helmet. So the Pot Helmet, when it's attached to a Pokemon, it takes 30 less damage from attacks, which will make this Cramorant actually do quite a lot less damage, only 80 a turn. We also see the Pidgeot V is being benched. That makes it so you can never deck out. If Pidgeot V is in play, or on the bench rather, you can shuffle it and all attached cards to it back into the deck. So as long as you have a 0-card deck, you can just put Pidgeot back in, keep redrawing it every turn, keep benching it every turn, keep shuffling it back in every turn, and you will never deck out. That is the reason why Lysander's Trump card was actually banned, because people were playing so many cards to dig through their decks, and then they would just Lysander's Trump card, refill their deck, and they could never be decked out. They banned that card because you could never deck out. And it's funny to see that you can just print a Pidgeot V. It's so much worse than Lysander's Trump card, but it's just funny that you can't get decked out because of it. Like, that's not really the intended use of the card, but people are just using it that way. We are going to see the Nest Ball grabbing another Cramorant. I don't think your Pokemon are going to be knocked out in this matchup, so I don't know if I actually would have even gotten the Cramorant out of deck. I think that I would have just left the Pokemon in play as is once I realized what I'm playing against. You know, against a mill deck, usually Lost Box has a very favored matchup, but you have to know how to play the matchup. Most of the time what I do is I start Cramorant, I play 2 Colress's Experiments as I draw into them, and then I just spit innocently for the rest of the game. Sometimes I'll start Comfey, and since currently, as of recording, Scoop Up Net is legal, I would use the Comfeys, scoop them up, leave only the Cramorant in play as soon as I get to 4 cards in the Lost Zone, and just spit innocently every single turn. Leave just that Cramorant in play. If my opponent is playing something like a Yellhorn in order to confuse my Pokemon, I would attach energies for turn and retreat into a second Cramorant, or scoop up my active Cramorant to put up a different Cramorant, stuff like that. And it makes it sort of auto-win, because your opponent just cannot deck you out as fast as a Cramorant can just continuously hit for 110. We do see Forest Seal Stone had come down to the Pidgeot V, so that you could search the deck for any card. We have the Pot Helmet on the Snorlax. We're going to use a Boss's Orders to move the Cramorant out of the active. And it would be really great. I don't know if Galar Mine is still legal. If that is an E-block or later card, that would be a very great card to be playing in this deck here. Because that will make it so that these 1 retreat cost Pokemon have a 3 retreat cost instead. And it will be pretty much impossible for them to do such a thing. It looks like we are using the flower selecting. We really want that Chorus's Experiment, but we're eyeing up this other card too. I'm not sure if we want to Lost Zone it. Looks like we did Lost Zone that other card. Not quite sure what it was. It's off camera now, so I can't really see it. But it's okay. We got that Chorus's Experiment. We are grabbing 3 cards from the top 5 cards of our deck to put in our hand and the other 2 in the Lost Zone. Just trying to decide which ones we really think we need here. I would definitely keep that Beach Court. I think the Beach Court is very important in this matchup. Because if there is a Galar... Let me look if Galar Mine is a D-block or not. Because that would make a difference. Again, quit the game for a few years over COVID, so... That was a D-block card. Okay, so maybe not. Maybe you can afford to get rid of that stadium. But, I mean, I think maybe even with the fact that Galar Mine is gone, it's still fine because you know your opponent's best option to stall you is going to just be Boss's Orders to bring up a 1 retreat cost Pokemon. So I think keeping the Beach Court is really good. And we are going to hit into the Pidgeot V, so it cannot shuffle itself back into the deck while it's active. So by using that escape rope to force it up and hit it for 110, you are now forcing a switch card out of your opponent in order to get it to the bench. Then you could shuffle it back in, but then you only have 1 Pokemon in play. So if this Lost Box deck on the left was able to get a big attack off, something like a Raikou V, then it would just be able to take the game. So, very interesting position to be in now. We do see the switch cart, so that will heal 30 damage off of that Pidgeot. So we're at 80 damage. Pidgeot V has, I think, 170. I think it might still be in, yeah, it should still be in range of a Cramorant knockout. So I don't know. It would feel really great to shuffle it back into the deck, but then yet again, you only have Snorlax in play. Do you really want to only have 1 Pokemon in play? Risk getting knocked out by something that has a Mirage Gate. So, yet another Chorus's Experiment. We're getting lots of cards in this Lost Zone now. We are definitely in Mirage Gate range. We already have 2 Water Energies down here onto our Radiant Greninja, and those energies look very nice. They are very shiny. They look good. Yeah, it looks like a tough decision here. We do have a Mirage Gate of our own in hand. 2 Mirage Gates, actually. I see the very first and the very last card are both Mirage Gates. But you are going to have to make a decision. You only have 12 minutes left for this game. You've only taken 1 prize card. You got to get going here because you do not want that double game loss for tying. So we are going to Nest Ball here. Again, not quite sure if I want to be getting more Pokemon in play, thinning your deck out more against a deck that is intending on making you deck out before them. But it looks like we are going to go for the Galarian Zapdos V. That will take a lot of energy to attack because it attacks for 1 less colorless for each of your opponent's V Pokemon in play. But it starts off with a 4 attack cost. Only 3 of those are colorless. Your opponent only has 1 V in play. You'll have to attack for 3 energy, 1 fighting, 2 colorless. So, yeah, not quite sure what the point of the Zapdos here is. Not quite sure what the judge is talking to the players about right now. Oh, maybe he picked the Nest Ball back up after he played it. Yeah, I think he played that Nest Ball to get the Zapdos, and now it's in his hand? I think that's what happened. So we're just waiting for this to get resolved. As always, how's everybody's day? Have you subscribed yet? There is a subscribe button down below. There's a notification bell as well. It'll allow you to be notified whenever any of my new videos go live. Just fun facts there. You know, in case you like this video. If you're here at this point, you probably like the video. So therefore, you probably want to see more. So you probably should be subscribed. If you're not already. If you all are already, you know, comment something stupid down below. Just whatever the stupidest PG thing that you can think of, drop it in the comments section below. Do you love that Winnie the Pooh likes to eat honey? You know, do you pick your friends, pick your nose, but not wipe your friends on the couch? Whatever, however that joke goes. You know, I'm just rambling because I don't know what else to say while these judges are deliberating with these players. Taco, is a taco a sandwich? Comment down below if you think a taco is a sandwich. I disagree. I think a hot dog and a taco are both the same thing. Technically speaking, a hot dog is a sandwich, I do believe, since it is put between a slice of bread, but it's only between one slice of bread. So is it really a sandwich? Do you need two separated pieces of bread in order for it to be a sandwich? I don't know. Yeah, I think a hot dog is a taco. Yeah. It's got a nice, you know, meaty center with just, yeah. I don't know what else stupid to say. I'm looking forward for Scarlet and Violet to come out. We just had pre-releases this weekend. It's been a couple of weeks since I recorded. I just recorded these last few rounds in a row. Just fun facts behind the scenes. My video game collection is going great now. Okay, so they've decided on whatever they decided about. Not sure what that deliberation was about. Maybe I cut that out in editing. Hopefully I did, because that was a very awkward few minutes of me just rambling about nothing. We are going to use the Mirage Gate to get one psychic energy down onto this Galarian Zapdos V. And what else will we do from this player? You can just attack with a Cramorant and feel fine about it. Your opponent's not milling you out fast enough. So, and there's no scoop up net to reset the damage on that Snorlax. Looks like we are going to go for the energy recycler. We're going to shuffle in some energies back into the deck. We have been using some concealed cards, so there is at least one psychic in there. Yes, there is. So we're going to put that back in. Again, can't really attack with that Galarian Zapdos unless we have a fighting energy. So that psychic energy is not getting us very far. And let's see, the Greninja. So the damage from that switch card ended up mattering because we are 30 less damage on there now. So that is 80. I think we have at least 177. Oh no, I think it's still, if it's 170 HP, it's still within a Greninja knockout. So looks like we have two psychic energy now from two Mirage Gates onto this Zapdos. We are going to attach a fighting energy for a turn, although I think the judges are telling him he already attached an energy this turn. Yeah, I think if he did attach for a turn, I did miss that. Because this game, for some reason, has been a little bit hard to follow for me. But if that is the case, yeah, then you just basically have to pass your turn at this point. So at least the rules in TPCI land, in the international regions of which we reside, where we play best of 3 Pokemon, I will say. The rules are if you announce your attack, but he did not attach for turn yet, so he technically did not announce his attack, so he's not really just forced to pass his turn here. Looks like he did try to... Yeah, he did try to do a second attachment. He is apologizing to his opponent. Honestly, kind of looks intentional, the way he was doing it, but, you know, whatever. What do I know? I'm not in the game. And then just passes the turn here. Still really curious about what that first judge call was about. If you guys figured it out, let me know again down in the comment section down below. because I clearly missed something. It's hard to pick up everything when I am talking at lightning speed the way I am right now. It takes much more brain cells, so therefore not all my brain cells are dedicated to thinking when I am commentating every single play that is coming out from both players. But of course, I think that this player on the left is still most likely going to be winning this match. Also, fun fact, they do have a timer on the side. These players get their own dedicated timer, because I did see that they had about 8 minutes left when the judge put the timer back in between the play area here. We are going to see a boss's orders for the Comfey and just pass. I do not know if 8 minutes is going to be enough time for this stall player to deck out the opponent. Although, this guy on the left is really helping. So we do see Colress's Experiment is going to grab 3 cards from the top 5 of the deck. Lost Zone another 2. You guys know how this works at this point. This deck has been around for quite a while, ever since Lost Origin was printed. We are going to see the attach return of the Fighting Energy and a switch card. We are going to go into the Zapdos. We will be able to take the one shot on this Snorlax, something that we tried to do on the last turn even though it was illegal. But it's legal now. And all that is left in play is that Pidgeot V, which can be knocked out by the Zapdos. It can be knocked out by the Radiant Greninja. One energy card onto the Radiant Greninja will do it. Just a switch back into the Zapdos if there's another boss's orders will also do it. And I don't know, this seems like a bad matchup. I think Lost Box is a bad matchup for stall. Even if you're not playing it right. I don't think that this player on the left was doing it right. Again, I say that you should just play 2 Colress's Experiments, have 1 Cramorant in play, and just spit innocently every single turn until you win. It's a lot more conservative. It makes sure there's as many cards in deck as possible. Your opponent cannot do some crazy Silene, Team Yell, cheer shenanigans with the Misfortune Sisters to keep playing it over and over, because you will have Pokemon in your deck instead of in play. And ooh, we are going for an additional attachment for a turn, just to make sure that we will be able to attack once this Pidgeot goes down. We are going to be able to take 2 prize cards here off of this Pidgeot. The Pidgeot may honestly resist fighting. I would not be surprised if it does. I think it's lightning weak and resists fighting. That's what a lot of the flying type Pokemon are like. But yeah, you should be able to take the knockout here, because you are hitting for 170 before any resistances even come involved. And there was already like 80 damage on there. So that Pidgeot goes down. We have 2 Snorlax in play now. So still going to have to go through those in order to win the game. We see Peonia is going to look at 3 of the prize cards, put them in hand, and then you replace 3 cards from your hand as prize cards. So you're now going to know what each of those 3 prize cards are. I always love saying that taking notes is important in Pokemon. Those little Etch-a-Sketch type pads that people use a lot, the digital notepads, I think are the actual terminology for them. But those are really great to have, to be able to write down your identified prize cards so that you know what is there or not. Very happy that this is not a Rotom B star deck, because I kind of thought that might be what it is at the beginning when I saw that in prize cards. But yeah, again, I do not know what this player on the right can even do at this point. I mean, the opponent only has to take 2 prize cards. Yeah, I'm not sure if the judge shuffled the prize cards off the Peonia. I mean, at least in America, that's not how it works, but they at least put them down for the player, which isn't bad. So we are going to see the boss's orders on the Rotom and take the last 2 prize cards, and that's it. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed, because I didn't. And we will see you guys next round for maybe a more interactive match. As always, yet again, do not forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell to make sure that you are notified when new videos go live. Check the description box below for the links to the Discord and the Twitch channel and all of that other good social media type stuff, and we will see you guys next time.